People believe that there are two types of businesses. There's a for-profit and there's a nonprofit, right? But the truth of the matter is there's only one type of business, and that's the business for profits, period, right? Because a for-profit business and a nonprofit business both needs money to operate. Both of them, you need profits. So that's a misconception. You need profits in order to run your nonprofits, because not only do you need to cut a salary check for yourself, but you actually need a team. You need a team. You have to run operations. You have to have systems. You have to have treasury. You have to have board meetings. You have to have all of these things. Plus, you got to be able to have the money to serve, which means that you can't run a nonprofit for free. You went through this daunting process without a plan and without a strategy of how am I going to fund the nonprofit? Because you probably thought, when I start the nonprofit and then the grants are going to come in. And then you start the nonprofit and then you realize that the grants are not coming in. There's so many grants that are out there, but they're inaccessible to certain organizations. They're not as accessible as you thought. And that it's a full-time job to pursue those grants, right? And then you realize that, okay, when I do pursue a grant, it turns out to be all of these things that are tied to it, all of these conditions that are tied to it, which limits my ability to really serve. What better way to activate and to fund your nonprofit than to make the government pay for it? Do you not know there are contracting opportunities out there for you to just do the research? They already have the money, right? And you could get a government contract as a nonprofit, but you can actually get more as a for-profit. So why not position yourself as a nonprofit and a for-profit? You have two entities where you're getting money from the government that funds your philanthropic journey, that funds the things that you want to do from the bottom of your heart to serve other people. What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about how to make more money in nonprofits. So if you have a nonprofit, you're definitely in the right place. I'm going to be sharing with you the common reasons why most nonprofits are broke, so that you don't make those mistakes and you can actually learn a strategy to help your business grow profitably. You don't hear a lot of things out there about ways that you can actually make your nonprofit profitable. You don't hear a lot of people talking to nonprofit organizations about profits, because the thing that they hear is nonprofit. But how many of you know, in your nonprofit, one of the things that I've learned about a nonprofit is you definitely have to have some type of profits in order to make it run. So those are some of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you today. So couple things that you're going to learn in this video is the most common reasons why people start nonprofits. So I'm going to get into that. Why most nonprofits are broke. Getting started, why people start nonprofits. The most common reasons, right? And you guys can let me know. You feel free to chime in the chat as well of reasons why you actually started your nonprofit. But most people start a nonprofit is because they have hearts to serve, right? And serving other people is the greatest thing that you can do as a human being, in a way that not only it satisfies your mission, right? The things that you were designed to do to help other people, but also in your servitude, when you're not doing it the right way, or rather when you're doing it the right way, it actually is supposed to help you elevate your lifestyle in the process as well. So they say there's a scripture that talks about giving and receiving, right? You must give in order to receive, pressed down, shaken together, running over. And nonprofit organizations are designed with giving in mind, right? Am I right about it? Giving in mind, right? But why are nonprofits not receiving? So a few things why people start nonprofits, because they have a heart to serve. Maybe there's a situation that you're very passionate about, like homelessness and housing people. honoring God, and that's your Thanksgiving by helping orphans, right? Maybe you were a foster kid and you want to help other people that are caught up in the foster care system. Maybe you were abused once and you want to help women or men that have been abused get through their situations and things of that nature. So usually it's personal, right? So usually people start nonprofits for personal reasons of maybe they've come from there and they understand what it's like to be in those shoes. And so when they got out of that position, they say, I want to help other people who's been in these shoes. So a lot of times your heart is tied to the business, right? A lot of times your heart is tied to the business. And so those are the reasons. So I started my nonprofit specifically because, as I remember, my nonprofit is called Life Skills Organization. And I remember not knowing a lot of things, not having a lot of skills. And then I remember as I began to develop those skills, it began to help me actually make money developing certain skills. And so I wanted to show people how to actually use their life skills and actually to make more money, which ultimately can help you alleviate yourself out of impoverished situations, right? So that's the reason why I started my nonprofit. I'm like, wow, you can use your gifts, your skills to actually make money. I didn't know those things, right? So that's the reason why I started my nonprofit. But I know that there are so many people that have their philanthropy. You want to be a philanthropist, right? You want to have a heart to serve. You want to help people, but you don't have the money to do. So there's so many nonprofits, which is why I'm talking about this today. There are so many nonprofits because I get it now, right? I didn't get it then. When I started my nonprofit, I had no money, no capital, no grants, no anything. So a lot of times we're starting nonprofits broke. But you went through the process of getting your business, your LLC registered, and getting your 501c3 and applying for all of that. You went through this daunting process without a plan and without a strategy of how am I going to fund the nonprofit? Because you probably thought, right? And you can correct me if I'm wrong. You probably thought when I start the nonprofit and then the grants are going to come in. And then you start the nonprofit and then you realize that the grants are not coming in. And the grants that you apply to, they already have an idea of who they're going to give it to. And then you find out that there's so many grants that are out there, but they're inaccessible to certain organizations. They're not as accessible as you thought. And that it's a full-time job to pursue those grants, right? And then you realize that, okay, when I do pursue a grant, it turns out to be all of these things that are tied to it, all of these conditions that are tied to it, which limits my ability to really serve. I'm telling the truth. I know I'm going to tell the truth, right? Because I want to help you. I want to help somebody really understand why we did it in the first place, but also how can we be more productive in our approach to serving others? Okay. How can we be more productive in our approach to serving others and have the money and capacity and financial support to be able to do so in a meaningful way to where we're able to have the impact that we were designed to have? Okay. Couple things that I found. You cannot run a business off grants. You cannot run and operate a business financially, totally, and be stable and be consistent and be able to serve and be able to have impact off a grant. Grants are free. They come and go. They can fall out at any given time. They have conditions sometimes that disables you from being able to do the things that you want to do. And if you're not careful, because I've seen this too, if you're not careful on how you set up your board, you can get voted out of your own company that you started from the ground up with your heart to serve. You can get voted out. And next, you have others coming in and taking over your nonprofit, and you on the outside looking in. That was my dream. I did that. And they came and took it from me because I signed the dotted line of all these conditions and I've sold out to get the money. And now it flipped on me because I'm no longer going to give in to the things that the people want me to do in order to serve the people. I really just want to serve the people. I don't want to get caught up in the politics and all of these other things that y'all want me to do. So then they'll come in and they'll pull the rug right from under your feet. I've seen it happen many a times. Yeah, I've seen it happen many a times. But here's the kicker. Here's a secret. Here's the kicker, right? People believe that there are two types of businesses. There's a for-profit and there's a nonprofit, right? But the truth of the matter is there's only one type of business, and that's the business for profits, period, right? Because a for-profit business and a nonprofit business both needs money to operate. Both of them, you need profits. So that's a misconception. You need profits in order to run your nonprofits, because not only do you need to cut a salary check for yourself, but you actually need a team. You need a team. You have to run operations. You have to have systems. You have to have treasury. You have to have board meetings. You have to have all of these things. Plus, you got to be able to have the money to serve, which means that you can't run a nonprofit for free. You cannot run a nonprofit off. Yeah, are there benefits to having a 501c3? Absolutely. There are some tax benefits, but your nonprofit has to be making money in order for you to thrive and to benefit off those tax benefits. You still got to have your EIN. You still got to have, you do your taxes on time. You got to have all these things to run and operate. Otherwise, what you have is a piece of paper that says 501c3, tax free. That's it. Oh, it's just a piece of paper, right? What is the purpose of having a nonprofit if you don't have the money? You got to think like a for-profit business. How can I raise the funds? How can I have the money? What do I need to do in order to actually make this work? And the thing is, that's the reason why most nonprofits are broke, because they're thinking nonprofit and they think no money. People have automatically attached nonprofit with the idea of that you don't need no money. And that is far from the truth. You absolutely need money, which means that you need to have a for-profit part to your nonprofit business. Otherwise, your business is sitting in a box. It is just a concept and an idea, right? So why do you think there are multi-billionaires that are out there who are philanthropists and they give money? Philanthropists, right? They give money to organizations that are serving a certain cause, right? So you have some decisions to make. Do you want to become a philanthropist, or do you really want to operate a nonprofit organization? Because until you learn how to actually build a business that has money and cash flow, and to think about ways to generate revenues and not just depend on the grants, you will remain a broke nonprofit. You will remain inactive with the inability to actually serve, which is why you started your nonprofit in the first place, okay? Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you're enjoying it. I wanted to take some time to invite you to join me in the GovCon Challenge. The GovCon Challenge takes place once a month, where I invite a bunch of entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs to come and have me teach you the 5 things you must do to pre-qualify your business to land lucrative contracts with the government. So join me in the GovCon Challenge. Click on the link in the description. You'll be glad you did. Join as VIP for exclusive behind-the-scenes information, and you could become a part of the top 1% of entrepreneurs across the nation. Now back to the video you were watching. So 2 things. Number 1, yes, nonprofits are businesses that actually need profits. And on top of that, with that, did you not know that you can have a social enterprise? So every nonprofit that I've ever seen that actually succeeded also had a social enterprise leg component, right? Which means that they had a for-profit leg attached to their nonprofit purpose. You have to have both. You have to have a for-profit business where you're generating revenues. Then you can actually redirect some of those revenues to your nonprofit purpose. Let me see what's going on here. My internet is probably coming in and out. You have to have, I'm going to say that again for those of you who may have missed it, because it looks like I froze for a moment. You have to have a for-profit business that generates enough revenue where you can fuel some of those revenues and redirect some of those revenues to your nonprofit purpose. They work together hand in hand. So when people come and they say, I have a nonprofit business, I'm like, oh, okay, you have a business. Okay, what are we talking about here? All the nonprofit status means that you have a tax-free option. That's it. It's just tax-free, right? It doesn't mean anything other than you have a tax-free advantage. That's it. That's the only advantage of having a 501c3. You have a tax-free advantage. Maybe you can get some stuff for free from corporations that serve nonprofit. Maybe you can get some free groceries from the grocery store for your events. Maybe you can get some things that are tax-free because these large philanthropists or large corporations, they can use that donation as a write-off for them, so they're benefiting. But how do you benefit from your own nonprofit? You have to have a for-profit and a nonprofit working together simultaneously. That's the truth of the matter. This is what I've come to know. The reason why I know this is because I've had a nonprofit for maybe about 8 years. 8 years. I've never had a single penny come into that nonprofit. I've never was awarded a single grant for that nonprofit. It wasn't until I actually leveraged my for-profit business that I was then able to activate the nonprofit philanthropic work that I want to do out of my heart. You cannot run a business out of your heart and that's it only. You cannot run a business or make profits just out of your heart. You can have a good heart, but you also have to have a sound mind of how we're gonna get this money, period. And one of the best ways that I've seen on how you can get the money to activate your philanthropic nonprofit duties is to actually get the money from the government. Make the government your partner, right? So somebody said, I'm going to put this on the screen, Dr. Marie. She said, yes, my powerful sister. I noticed that too late. I wish I knew that before. I should have definitely done it differently, right? Listen to this, y'all. What better way to activate and to fund your nonprofit than to make the government pay for it? They already have the money, right? And you could get a government contract as a nonprofit, but you can actually get more as a for-profit. So why not position yourself as a nonprofit and a for-profit? You have two entities where you're getting money from the government that funds your philanthropic journey, that funds the things that you want to do from the bottom of your heart to serve other people. Because when you actually are a servant, so contracting with the government, the best way to position yourself so that they can award these lucrative multiple six-figure, imagine that, multiple six-figure, multiple million-dollar contracts to you is you have to say, here's how I can serve. Here's how I can serve. Here's how I can solve the problems that you're looking to solve. And they're so more than willing to do it. They've already called your name. They've already called it out. They've already said, we're looking for women-owned business. We have multiple trillions or multiple millions of dollars that we set aside for women-owned businesses, right? But yet we're like, I don't have this money. Let me go see what Alice.com is offering for a grant. Nah, them $10. Yeah, free money is okay. Get 10,000 here, 25,000 there, maybe 50,000, but that ain't gonna do nothing. Impact. You have hundreds of people on one block that's homeless. A $50,000 grant is not gonna solve that problem. You will do better taking that $50,000 grant and building your for-profit business and positioning that for-profit business to set up to get a government contract that's going to fuel millions of dollars into your business. Now, what that does, not only does that increase your profits, makes you highly profitable, right? But now you have the money to pay yourself. You can pay an executive director to go after more contracts. You can pay a staff and a team to serve the people. You can pay in-house for your accountant person to make sure that your nonprofit is compliant and that they understand how for-profits and nonprofits work together so that you can stay compliant, right? So that you don't lose your 501c3, right? It's a plan of action. You got to have a real plan of action in these streets. You do. You got to have a real plan of action. So you can't just go. You should just, it's so crazy the knowledge and information that are out there. It's just so crazy the knowledge and information that is out there that people are just missing because they don't understand how to put together and connect the dots. You have to have a game plan. What is your end goal? If your end goal is X, Y, and Z, then you have to reverse engineer. How am I going to fund it? What do I need to do? How do I position myself? All these things, right? Who is going to help me? Who do I need? Because if you think that you're going to have impact all by yourself, think again. You need teamwork. You need partnerships, right? Strategic partners. You need a strategic plan of action. And you need the willpower to be able to go and do the work, because not everybody is able to get out and do the work. It's not going to come to you. You have to go to it. You have to be willing to go and do the work. Okay. That means you got to have a research team. We got to fund all those things, right? Do you not know there are contracting opportunities out there for you to just do the research? Research on economic crisis, research on why certain types of babies are born with disability. You can actually build an in-house team to do the research and get those contracts on the research and development of new ideas and new discoveries. Absolutely. Yeah, there are contracting opportunities, but this is why I say contracting with the government is the best kept secret. You just have to think about how you can actually leverage these things to help you where you are, right? It's not just a paycheck. It's a life-changing experience. So not only will it help you in your nonprofit, but it'll also help you with your for-profit. And when you're making those types of profits, guess what else it helps you with? Your life. It helps you. Look, there are 33, write the vision and make it plain, right? That's in the scripture. Write the vision and make it plain, right? And also faith without works is what? That means you got to do the work. So the things that I'm saying, it's real, it's biblical, it's principle. These are principles that actually show you how to actually have the success that you want on purpose, not on accident. People don't accidentally become millionaires. People don't accidentally become profitable. People don't accidentally become philanthropists and accidentally have a successful running business. They do it on purpose. Got to do it on purpose. Plan of action, right? And so not only does it help you with your nonprofit, with your for-profit, and in your life, but it helps you to become a part of the 1%ers. So watch this. There are 33 million businesses in the US right now. 33 million small businesses. Small businesses mean have under 500 employees. 33 million. But here's the staggering thing about that statistic. Only 6% of the 33 million businesses make six figures. Only 6%. That's a very small micro percentage of small businesses across the US. That means all 51 states make six figures. Six figures begins at 100,000. It takes $100,000 to live comfortably, at least in this era. It takes that. But most small business owners are not even doing that. Big. That's a big staggering statistic, right? Now, watch this. Now, only 2% are reported to make seven figures. Only 2%. 2% of 33 million. That's a very small number of people who are making seven figures. Yet, somebody say yet, there are contracting opportunities right now, every day. One contract could be worth multiple seven figures. So this is a serious thing. It's a serious decision that you really have to make. Do I really want to do it? Do I really want to fund my nonprofit? Do I really want to have impact? And if so, then these are some of the things that you can do because the money is there. The government prints the money. They never run out of the money. They're asking you to come get the money. What side of the fence are you on? Do you really want to do this or not? Right? So that is how you can fund your for-profit. And my question to you, for those who do have nonprofits or for-profits, or you're looking to make profits and the profits ain't working and the math ain't mathing, is your money working for you? Have you employed your money? Employed means invested in something that's going to teach you how to make some money, right? The best investment that you can make is into something that's going to teach you how to multiply your wealth, right? So the more you pour into your money mindset, the more you pour into your knowledge base of how the truth and how things really works, the higher you elevate that, right? Your frequency on what you believe about money, the better relationship you have about money, the better truth you begin to learn about money, the more money you're going to attract. So if you go to govconchallenge.com, then you can actually register to join us in the next challenge. 5 days, 90 minutes a day. You get to learn how to partner with the government. What do you need to have? Who do you need to become? How to position yourself? How much money is on the table so that you can actually turn your nonprofit business into a for-profit mastery, right? Join me in the upcoming 5-day challenge to actually get your business pre-qualified for government contracts. Go to govconchallenge.com. That is how you can actually make your nonprofit profitable by partnering with the government. And this is how you can actually elevate your lifestyle and have more impact and expand your philanthropy journey, right? By partnering with the government. So join us at govconchallenge.com, you guys. That's it for today. We'll check you next time.